What if the richest woman in Africa was born in a country where men need their wives' permission to marry another woman? What if ancient hairstyles held secrets passed down through generations coded in clay, butter, and fire? And what if your cash, your own currency, couldn't legally leave the country? Welcome to the Global Trail, where we blaze paths across our world. And today, we're stepping into Angola, the most paradoxical country in Africa. It's a land where billion-dollar oil fields exist beside barefoot markets, where dreadlocks tell stories louder than textbooks, and where nature reclaims what was once thought lost. But what no one expected was this. Because beyond the diamonds, beyond the drums, Angola holds truths that will shake everything you think you know about Africa. Forget everything you thought you knew about Africa. Angola isn't just a country, it's a layered reality. A place where colonial echoes still dance in the streets of Luanda, and tribal wisdom pulses through remote villages untouched by time. Here, history isn't just written in books, it's braided into hair, sung through ancient rhythms, and carved into coastal cliffs that have stared at the Atlantic for centuries. But Angola is also moving fast. It's an economic giant rising from decades of war, powered by oil, diamonds, and a cultural fire that refuses to be tamed. So today, we won't just explore a country, we'll decode its contrasts. We'll meet the women who carry economies on their heads, the animals that came back from extinction, and the dances that crossed oceans. This is Angola raw, radiant, and real. And what you're about to discover might just change the way you see the entire continent. Power and paradox, women of wealth and wives. In most of the world, power and tradition don't often share the same room. But in Angola, they sleep in the same house. Let's start with one of Africa's most powerful women, Isabel dos Santos. Born to a president, crowned by Forbes, and once worth over $3.5 billion, she's been dubbed Africa's richest woman. Her empire, telecom, banking, oil, her reach from Luanda to Lisbon, and for years. She didn't just break the glass ceiling, she bought the building. But here's the twist. In rural Angola, power takes a different shape, not in boardrooms, but in family compounds. Because polygamy isn't just legal, it's cultural. In tribes like the Omundu and Kimbundu, a man's wealth is often measured by the number of wives he has. Sounds patriarchal, not quite. To take another wife, a man must first ask permission from his current one. If she says no, the conversation ends. This unexpected dynamic gives Angolan women a subtle yet firm grip on family structures. Each wife typically has her own house, forming a small village where responsibilities, child-rearing, livestock care, farming are shared communally. Dowries aren't just transactions, they're declarations of value. A bride might be priced in goats, cattle, or precious metals, but beneath it all, strength, resilience, and character define a woman's worth. So here's the paradox. Angola is a land where a woman can rule empires or rule homes, and in both spaces. She commands respect, because whether she's signing oil contracts in Europe or managing 3 homes in the savannah, the Angolan woman doesn't just exist in this country, she defines it. The hair that speaks. In the dusty savannas of southern Angola, under a sky that remembers everything, a young girl kneels beside her grandmother. Between them is a wooden bowl filled with clay, herbs, butter, and smoke-scented oil. It's not a cooking lesson, it's a rite of passage. with slow, practiced hands. The elder begins twisting the girl's hair not for style, but for story. Among the Mua and Mukal tribes, dreadlocks are more than a look. They're memory, carved into hair. A girl doesn't just grow older, she earns each lock like a badge. 4 dreadlocks mean she's reached womanhood. But if you see her with only 3, it means she's mourning 1 lock cut to honor the dead. They call them nonomi locks, made from earth, sweat, and lineage, shaped over hours, even days. They hold the rhythm of generations who didn't write books, but wrote identity into each strand. Mothers passed them to daughters. No 2 patterns are the same. Each is a living signature, and while the world struts dreadlocks down fashion runways and music videos, these women wear them like silent songs, heard only by those who know what to listen for. In Angola, hair isn't just a part of you. It remembers for you. It grieves with you. It celebrates with you. And long after voices fade, it still speaks. Because in a place where stories live more in people than on paper, the hair tells all. Queens of the market, the Zungarias. At sunrise in Luanda, the city stirs not with traffic, but with footsteps. Barefoot, steady, and determined, they belong to women balancing entire businesses on their heads. They're called Zungarias, to outsiders. They may look like street vendors, but in truth, they are Angola's quiet economic engine, the backbone of a nation that has learned to survive and thrive outside the formal system. A Zungaria walks with a baby on her back and a basin of goods balanced perfectly above her head. Fruits, fish, clothes, hopes. With one hand, she negotiates prices. With the other, she comforts a crying child. There's no cash register, no marketing team. Just grit, grace, and generations of know-how. Their strength doesn't shout, it endures. These women make up a vast share of Angola's informal workforce, often supporting entire families with what they earn each day. And they do it all without spreadsheets, without loans, without weekends, only raw determination and the rhythm of survival. If you look closer, you'll see that the Zungaria is more than a seller. She's a symbol, a walking rebellion against poverty, a daily act of resistance wrapped in fabric and sweat. In another country, she might be celebrated on magazine covers. In Angola, she is the cover of every story of resilience the country has ever known. She doesn't just carry goods, she carries a legacy, one that walks through dust, dances through hardship, and feeds a future with every step. Wild Majesty. Somewhere deep in the Angolan highlands, water crashes over stone with a roar that silences even the wind. This is Ruka Falls, not just a waterfall, but a force of nature so vast it drowns doubt and fear alike. Few travelers make it this far. Fewer still realize what lies beyond a land shaped by time, untouched by noise. To the south stretches Iona National Park, a desert canvas brushed with gold and crimson. Antelopes migrate like whispers across the sand. Giant rock formations rise like forgotten gods. And in the distance, the Kwanza River glides through the wild as if it's keeping secrets. But perhaps the most stunning secret Angola has ever kept was nearly lost. For years, the giant sable antelope, with its glossy black coat and arching horns, was thought extinct, gone, a relic of Angola's civil war. Until one day, in the remote Kandala forest, a small herd was spotted, alive, breathing, watching. That moment wasn't just a rediscovery, it was a rebirth, a symbol that even after decades of destruction, nature remembers how to heal. Today, the giant sable stands tall as a national treasure, its image printed on currency and carved into hope. Angola protects it fiercely, not just as a species, but as proof that beauty returns when you give it time. So if you ever doubt the magic of this land, just look where the trees part, where waterfalls speak, and where an antelope once written off by science still runs in Angola. Wild isn't just what's untamed, it's what refuses to disappear. Culture in motion. The drum beat starts low, almost like a heartbeat. Then comes the shimmer of metal, the sway of hips, the call of history echoing through movement. This isn't just dance. This is Semba, Angola's soul in motion. Long before Brazil's Carnival made samba a household name, Angola was already dancing. In the 17th century, enslaved Angolans carried their rhythms across the Atlantic. Over time, their moves evolved into Brazil's samba. But here, in Luanda, the original pulse remains grounded, earthy, unapologetically raw. They call it the music of the sea because it travels, it remembers, it connects, and it's not just Semba. Angola gave birth to Kizomba, now one of the world's most sensual partner dances gliding across ballrooms in Paris, Lisbon, and New York. Yet its roots still lie in local streets, where couples dance not for show, but for connection. But nothing quite captures Angola's cultural heartbeat like Carnival Delanda. For days, the capital explodes in color feathers, masks, body paint, drums, not to mimic Rio, but to celebrate its own defiant joy. It's messy, loud, and absolutely magnificent. There's also the Drum Festival, where the Ovimundu and Kimbundu people don't just play rhythms, they speak through them. The beats carry messages across hills and villages, uniting tribes in a language that predates borders. Here, movement is memory. Every step tells a story. Every song is an inheritance. Because in Angola, culture doesn't sit in museums, it dances through the streets. And if you listen closely, you'll hear the past not whispered, but danced. The price of progress. Imagine walking into a cafe in Luanda, ordering a simple sandwich, and realizing it costs more than a meal in Paris. Now imagine trying to take home the local currency and being told it's illegal. Welcome to Angola's economic paradox. With its vast oil fields and diamond mines, Angola ranks among Africa's richest nations. It pumps out over 1 million barrels of oil each day and exports some of the world's most prized gems. Its GDP close to $200 billion. Its ambitions even larger. And yet, Angola's currency, the kwanza, cannot legally leave the country. Not in your wallet, not as a souvenir. Why? Because the government tightly controls its flow, hoping to protect the fragile economic ecosystem from collapse or exploitation. But that's only half the story. In Luanda, Angola's capital, the cost of living rivals Tokyo or New York. Expats pay thousands for housing. Locals hustle daily just to afford basics. It's a city of shimmering glass towers and makeshift street stalls side by side, breathing the same humid air. Here, wealth isn't evenly spread, it's stacked high. sharp, and often out of reach. And yet, there's motion. Roads are expanding. Investments are flooding in. Young Angolans are dreaming louder than ever. But progress, like diamonds, comes with pressure. It gleams, it cuts, it transforms. So yes, Angola is rising, but with every high-rise and every foreign investor. The country walks a tightrope balancing rapid growth with the risk of forgetting who it's growing for. Because real progress isn't just measured in dollars, it's measured in dignity. Angola isn't just a country, it's a contradiction that works. Where dreadlocks tell deeper stories than books. Where women carry economies on their heads and command empires with their minds. Where wild antelopes rise from extinction and billionaires rise from the ashes of war. It's a land of heat and heart, hardship and hope. A place where culture dances in the streets and wealth hides behind cracked sidewalks. And maybe that's what makes Angola unforgettable. It doesn't try to be perfect. It dares to be real. So if you've ever thought you knew Africa, think again. Because Angola doesn't just challenge the narrative, it rewrites it. Would you blaze this trail with us? Type adventure below if Angola just made it onto your dream list. What surprised you the most? The billion-dollar empire, the dancing history, or the antelope that came back from the dead? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget, this is just one stop on our global journey. Thanks for traveling with the Global Trail. Subscribe, and we'll see you on the next trail.